Free chicken dinner at Skywater Haven. Self-serve. That's what the sign should say up in the trees so the hawks can see it. Yeah, we've been fortunate. We've had our chickens for about a year now. We haven't had any issues. But about 3 weeks ago, the hawks discovered our chicken run, and we lost 3 chickens. So we're going to show you what we did to protect our 900 square foot chicken run coming up next in this video. All right, well, here we are. First weekend after 2 of our chickens were killed by a hawk. What I'm doing this weekend is installing some netting over this entire outside area. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing for this, and how I'm going to put it up and hopefully protect the chickens. What I bought was this netting from Amazon, and I'll have a link to it on our webpage in case you want to buy the exact same stuff. I know there's a lot of different types of netting out there, so if you're want to use the same stuff that I'm showing in this video, then go ahead and click on that link. My main thing is, my issue that I have here is I have all these trees, and I got to run the netting through these trees, so I have to cut slots in the netting to get around all these trees. I got probably 20 trees here in the chicken run area, and it's a pretty big run. It's I don't know, it's about 30 feet by 40 feet of area here. I started it last weekend putting the net up and these posts. So I'll show you the steps that I took to get started. Then I have this big open area over here to the right that I need to cover, because man, those hawks, it's interesting, we've lost our chickens only on clear days. It's because the hawks, fly up there a mile into the sky and spot anything running around. If on a cloudy day, they are not up that high. so yeah, if you keep an eye out on clear days, that's when the hawks will come and get your chickens. Anyway, what else? It's a beautiful day out today. It's about maybe 40 degrees out now. So I'm looking forward to getting this hopefully done and protecting the chickens a little bit. Hi, Blackie. Alright, so one of the first things that I want to do is I need corners to attach my rope to that my netting is going to hang from. So I'm going to, instead of digging a hole and putting the post in these holes after I dig it, I'm just going to kind of go a little easier route. I bought these metal poles at Lowe's, and I have a pile driver here, so it's a nice quick way to put a post in the ground almost 1.5 feet, and it'll make it pretty steady, and then I'll attach my peeler pole to this, and it'll give me a nice firm pole upright for me to attach my rope to. So because this is an electric fence, I want to make sure that I'm not, especially the metal, not up against the fence. My netting is going to come across about 9 feet above my head, and then drape down so that the hawks can't swoop in between the top of the electric fence and the top of the netting. So I'm basically going to have it completely enclosed all the way around the whole perimeter. So I'm going to put this post here right about here. Try to get it started in a good upright level position. Take my pile driver, So that puts it in the ground pretty sturdy down at the bottom. So no digging involved. And then what I'll do is I'll take my peeler pole, just kind of jam it in the ground just a little bit, and then I tie my peeler pole to the metal pole with some twine or maybe even tie wraps to just get it started. I don't necessarily like to use tie wraps outdoors because the sun breaks them down and they end up cracking and snapping off. Short term they're fine, so if you want to quickly get moving and get started with getting everything up, tie wraps are a quick, easy way to just get everything started, and then you can come back and cut them off. Or you could leave them on and just put some rope around them so you can get going. So that's what I'll do on this. Put a couple tie wraps on. That puts me about, that's about 7 foot, maybe not 9 foot above the ground is where the top of my net will be. And then it'll drape down. So I'll put all these poles up around the perimeter, and then I'll run a rope from the top of all these poles connecting them, and that's what my net will go to and overlap. So we'll do that next. Soft dirt there. Alright, so I bought this spool of rope. It's I think it's a 7/16 nylon rope to run along the perimeter of the fence so that the net has something to rest on in between the poles. I'm not quite sure yet how I'm going to tie this because this nylon rope is a bitch to tie because of how slippery it is. Because you just can't tie a simple knot with it. So I'm going to have to do some R&D to see what works best. Go up here. I'm going to pull it a little bit tight. So I think I want my tie wrap to go through right about here. Expand it a little bit. Tie wrap through. Go up to the top. So. And there. I probably should have gone around the back side, so all the pressure is not on the rope. If I can still do that. There we go. That keeps it from sliding down. And then I'll take it off to my next post. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to take my rope. I want to come across a little bit to avoid the span because this is where my two nets, the seam is going to be on the two nets. So there's no trees in this area, so I need to support it. So I'm going to run this one rope over, and I want to cut it and have a loop on the end so that I can then tie it to this tree by the loop. So I'll show you how to make a loop with this type of nylon rope here. So let's get started on that. So this nylon rope, if you look at it, like I said, it's like that Chinese finger handcuffs where you push on it and it expands and it has, becomes hollow on the inside. And also because this is nylon, what we want to do is when we cut it, we want to make sure that we melt the all of these, because these are made. This whole rope is made up of these fine individual strands of nylon. So when we cut it, we want to make sure that the whole end of the rope just doesn't go, explode out into all of this mess. So what I want to do is I want to form a loop on the end of it, and then when we cut it, we'll then take this and put it through itself to form a loop, and you don't have to tie it off or anything. It just kind of becomes a a nice solid connection. I have here, which I've had for a while, is a hot knife, and basically this element right here heats up and becomes really hot, and then when you cut through your rope, it melts everything together. You could also take electrical tape and tape the end of the rope and then cut it right in the middle of your electrical tape, so when you cut it there's still taped up on each side, and then take a lighter and melt both ends of the rope together with a lighter. That works just as well. But this has been in the drawer for several years. I thought, hey, let me try it. And if you're doing a lot of cuts, this is kind of a quick way to do it. But the lighter method is not bad either. Alright, so the first thing I want to do, so that I don't lose my spot when I'm making my loop, is I took this little piece of line and I stuck through the rope. This basically tells me where I want my loop to be. So my loop will be right there, going in. So I'm going to want to cut this. There's my camera. I should probably zoom out a little bit. Where's my other hand? There we go. So I'll end up cutting this rope right about back here. So we'll take some electrical tape and tape over this. Right there's a rope with electrical tape. There's where we want to cut it. You just let it kind of melt its way through, and as it's melting it, it is bonding all the rope together. You probably want to do this outside, so you don't breathe the fumes. Probably a good idea to not do the electrical tape, and then you can just kind of go back over the ends. Basically you're cauterizing this rope so that it doesn't come undone. Alright, so here's where our loop is going to be. So we're going to loop this around, and then we're going to tuck the this end here into this opening that you open up here, and feed the rope back in on itself. And you just kind of push it in. You keep expanding it. You keep just kind of grabbing a hold of it and then pulling it as you're doing it. You just keep doing that to where the end is, and you can see a loop beginning. I want this loop to be pretty tight, and I don't remember how much of this you need to have looped back and put it into itself. I think 6 inches works. The longer it is, probably the better. You just keep doing that. So that's that. I got a really small loop here on the end. So that's what I'll tie to the tree, and it just becomes one big long piece of rope that's fed in on itself. Ideally what people do is they then take one piece of line and they stick through both of those pieces of rope in here and then just tie it with like something that won't come untied, and that ensures that it can't pull out. But I'm not worried about this on this project. All right, took me most of the day, but I got all the ropes in, all the posts in. So tomorrow I'm ready to start draping netting. This is yeah, 25 by 50 feet. Call it anti-bird net. Thing is, I want to keep my birds in. What if you want to keep your birds in? Then is it still anti-bird net? Anyway, so this is how it comes. It's really well packaged. I already put one up already, so I know what I'm expecting here. So there it is in the box. What these yellow lines mean here, these yellow lines represent the four corners of the net. So they've marked it really well. It's very well packaged, so it basically comes in a long section first. So we'll lay that out. Just gonna pull it. One of the things that I found out when I was putting my first one up is make sure you don't unroll it and spread it out over a bunch of sticks, because every stick that it lays on will get tangled up in it. So. Another good tip is don't lay it out in dog poop. Alright, so now I got this long run. Now I'm going to, you can see here's one yellow line, and then there's another yellow line about a third of the way up. So that's another corner up here. So I'm going to leave this here. Grab this other yellow spot. This is another corner, so I'll kind of want to make sure that I'm not twisted. Kind of unravel it, pull it. It's really hard to see at first when you're laying it out on which direction it goes. So what I'm using is a 25 foot by 50 foot nylon netting. It's really strong netting. It has 2-inch square holes in it. I like the larger holes because when I'm tying it and tying the seams together, I can kind of reach through the holes and pull my braiding line through when I'm wrapping it up to tie the sections together. So it's a real nice size. Like I said, it's super strong. Hopefully it'll last a long time, and we'll see how that works. Alright, now that I have it all spread out, I'm going to kind of gather it up and start in one corner of the chicken pen and start in the corner and work my way out. Boy, these yellow ends being tied like that are so important. Man, if you didn't have that, I would have no idea where to even start on this net. All right, so one of the things that I am doing here is I'm stretching the bird netting out across and up over the rope up above and then down, and then I'm tying it to the electric fence. So this basically secures the whole perimeter of the net down to the fence, and also it straightens everything out, you know, pretty well. So I basically take some twine and twine. It's really nylon thread. And I wrap around here. This is what I was talking about the 2-inch holes being large enough. I can reach through the hole, you know, and easily get around it. If these were real tiny holes, I would have to make sure that I reach up from the back and fish it through. And you know, here I'm able to get my whole fingers, you know, through this, you know, and hold it down. So it's been really helpful. So let me cut a piece of thread. This thread is so thin. I wish it was a little bit thicker. Zoom in a little bit here. Take it down like that. Wrap it a few times. And just do a double square knot. I'll probably take some larger thread, or maybe even something like this hemp, which is a lot thicker. And as I go along, maybe I'll take this and I'll just, you know, weave it around, you know, this netting to hold it all down into place. That way I don't have to tie each and every individual knot. I'm not worried about anything getting in through, you know, gaps like this, but it'll just be a nice cleaner look. Well, there it is. My netting is up. It's completely enclosed. It's got plenty of room, so when I walk in, I don't feel like I have to duck. Yeah, it came out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. My biggest regret, that I think, is going to be not chopping down 4 trees that are in here. There are 4 trees that are dead, and there's a good possibility that they could come crashing down on everything. So I guess that'll be another video. Anyway, that's it for installing the bird netting. Hopefully you got a few pointers or saw some things that maybe can help you out if you decide to enclose your area with netting or to protect the hawks. There's 1,000 different ways that you could go about installing netting. This is just the way I did it. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. As long as it keeps the hawks from killing my chickens, that's the only thing I'm worried about. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you go to our website, you'll see links to the exact netting that I purchased, as well as the rope, and a few other things. So if you're interested, pop over to there. That's skywaterhaven.com, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.